Yin immediately ran as soon as she got off the bus. The clock showed 8:10 a.m., which meant she was already 10 minutes late. She sighed in frustration when she saw the school gate was tightly shut. What an annoying morning. All because she had stayed up late watching a drama the night before. She ended up oversleeping today. Yin lived alone in a modest apartment in Seoul, while her parents were in Bisan. Her parents visited her at her apartment every month. Damn it, what should I do now? Yin muttered, staring at the school gate in despair. Sweat dripped from her forehead, and her hair was slightly messy from running earlier. She jumped in surprise when she realized someone was standing next to her. In her panic, she hadn't noticed the luxury car parked not far from where she stood, nor the fact that its owner was now beside her. Feeling nervous, Yin glanced at him. Even though they were in the same class, they rarely interacted. Are you late too? Yin asked hesitantly before immediately regretting her stupid question. Stupid, of course. He's late too, Yin. Otherwise, why would he still be out here? She scolded herself internally. Jungkook glanced at her, a faint smile tugging at his lips, so faint that Yin didn't notice. What do you think? He replied, raising an eyebrow. I was just asking. What's so hard about giving a simple answer? Yin grumbled in annoyance. Her morning mood was already bad, and now her classmate was making it worse. But really, it was her own fault for trying to talk to Jungkook, the cold and indifferent guy. Jungkook shook his head slightly, looking at the girl, who now lowered her head. Despite her low voice, he could still hear her. Yes, I'm late, Jungkook said softly, not wanting to upset her further. The silence between them was broken when their teacher, Mr. Minho, appeared behind the gate. Hey, you two, why are you late? Yin and Jungkook quickly approached the gate, exchanging glances before Jungkook responded first. There was a traffic accident earlier, sir. My car couldn't pass, Jungkook answered with his usual calm demeanor. Mr. Minho nodded and then turned to Yin. What about you, Yin? Why are you late? Standing awkwardly, Yin scratched her neck and cleared her throat. I overslept, sir, she admitted, giving a sheepish smile. Jungkook secretly held back a laugh. Overslept? How come? Having been raised to be honest, Yin wasn't good at lying. There wasn't any homework last night, so I stayed up late watching a drama, Yin said, grimacing slightly. Jungkook shook his head in amusement, while Mr. Minho sighed in frustration, one finding her antics funny, the other annoyed. You're in your third year now. Graduation is just around the corner. Don't fill your high school days with violations. Study hard so you can graduate and get into the university you want, Mr. Minho advised. Then turning to Yin, he added, especially you, Yin. Stop staying up late watching dramas. Use your time to study instead. Yes, sir. Sorry, Yin said, bowing her head in embarrassment. Mr. Minho exhaled slowly. Jungkook, you can go in now. You're a smart and exemplary student. Don't fall behind in your lessons. I'll tolerate your tardiness this time. Thank you, sir, Jungkook replied with a nod. And as for you, Yin, I should punish you, but since the second period is my class, I'll let you in this morning. Upon hearing this, Yin suppressed a squeal of excitement. She was relieved to escape punishment. Her PE teacher was indeed kind. But, Mr. Minho added, in exchange, you must attend my PE class today. No more excuses, no complaints of being sick or any other reasons you usually give. Yin pouted, her joy vanishing instantly. She hated PE class and would often find excuses to skip it, especially during her monthly period, causing stomach cramps to avoid participating. Yes, sir, Yin replied softly. All right, get inside now, Mr. Minho ordered before walking away toward the security post. Yin glanced at Jungkook, noticing that he had been watching her all this time. What? She asked sharply, momentarily forgetting she was talking to the school's most sought-after boy. But Yin didn't care. Her mood was sour. Jungkook shook his head slightly, amused. Let's go, he said, walking ahead. Yin followed reluctantly. Yin and Jungkook had been classmates since their second year and were now in their final year of high school. Yin was a simple yet beautiful girl. She was intelligent and friendly to everyone. Although not considered a popular student, many boys liked her, but she treated them all as friends. In contrast, Jungkook was the captain of the basketball team and incredibly popular. Handsome, smart, wealthy, and talented, nearly every girl in school admired him. However, Jungkook's good looks came with a cold and indifferent demeanor, especially toward his female classmates. Many had tried to approach him, only to face rejection. Yet, despite this, they continued to admire him from afar. The classroom door was already closed, signaling that the lesson had started. Yin glanced at Jungkook and gave him a sweet smile. You knock, okay? She asked. Why? Jungkook frowned. If you knock, Miss Nana won't get mad. You're her favorite student, Yin replied with an innocent look. Jungkook shook his head slightly. Why is this girl so adorable? He thought. Without another word, Jungkook stepped forward to knock on the door. Meanwhile, Yin, now feeling nervous, instinctively hid behind him, her hand unconsciously resting on his shoulder as if to shield herself from the world. Feeling her touch on his shoulder, Jungkook glanced back and chuckled softly at her pleading expression, silently begging him to let her stay hidden. He sighed lightly and finally knocked on the door, making Yin even more anxious behind him. At last, the door opened. Sorry, miss, we're late, Jungkook said calmly. Meanwhile, Yin still seemed to be hiding behind his back. Oh, Jungkook, Miss Nana greeted warmly, smiling brightly. She had been wondering where her favorite student was earlier. And Yin? She asked hesitantly, noting how Yin continued to stay hidden behind Jungkook. Miss Nana was puzzled to see them arriving late together. Why are you both late? Yin cursed silently and slowly stepped out from behind him, shifting slightly to the side. Why do I have to explain this again? She muttered in her mind, frustration bubbling beneath her nervous exterior. She felt a wave of embarrassment at the thought of admitting the truth, especially in front of the entire class. Her cheeks flushed at the idea of her classmates laughing at her. Sensing Yin's nervousness, Jungkook intervened. Miss, wouldn't it be better if we resumed the lesson? We've already wasted enough time on us. We don't want to fall further behind, Jungkook said. It was an unusually long sentence for someone as reserved as him, but for the girl beside him, he found himself speaking more than usual. Miss Nana blinked, surprised by Jungkook's rare lengthy response. Ah yes, please take your seats, she said, gesturing toward the classroom. Yin sighed in relief, silently thanking Jungkook for saving her from further embarrassment. See? With Jungkook, even Miss Nana couldn't argue. The sight of Yin and Jungkook entering the classroom together sparked curiosity among their classmates. Many exchanged teasing and envious glances. For some reason, the interaction between Yin and Jungkook seemed unusually close, especially since Jungkook was known for avoiding proximity to any girl. Their brief but telling interaction raised unspoken questions in the minds of their peers. However, no one dared to ask further, as the lesson had already resumed. Among them, Melly, one of their classmates, glared at Yin and Jungkook. Melly was one of the many girls who had a crush on Jungkook. While others admired him from a distance, Melly openly expressed her feelings, often to the point of making Jungkook uncomfortable. Despite her efforts, she had never succeeded in catching Jungkook's attention. Jungkook, as usual, paid her no mind. Melly grew increasingly frustrated when she noticed Jungkook occasionally stealing glances at Yin. And now, seeing them arrive late together, Melly clenched her fists under the desk. I won't let Yin steal Jungkook's attention. Only I can have him, she thought furiously. You owe me a story, Yuna, Yin's deskmate, teased with a playful smile. I'll tell you later, Yin replied flatly. You're happy, aren't you? Coming in with Jungkook, Yuna continued to tease in a low voice. Shh, stop it, Yuna. Miss Nana will scold us, Yin hissed, her wide eyes making her look even more adorable. Yuna stifled a laugh, delighted by the sudden blush that appeared on Yin's cheeks. As someone who had been Yin's best friend since their first year, Yuna was well aware of her friend's feelings for the school's most wanted boy. 2 hours later, the first class had ended, and it was now time for PE. The female students immediately left to change into their sports uniforms in the restroom. Meanwhile, the male students stayed behind to change in the classroom, as they were already wearing their sports shirts under their school uniforms and only needed to change into their sports shorts. All they had to do was close the classroom door and get ready. Yin and her friends flocked to the bathroom, chatting and laughing along the way. Yin had just finished recounting the story of how she and Jungkook ended up arriving late to class to Yuna. While waiting for her turn, Yin placed her gym uniform near the sink and leaned against the wall. By the sink sat a small bucket filled with water, most likely used by the janitor to clean the bathroom. Melly smirked to herself. The teasing remarks from her friends earlier had been grating, especially seeing Yin acting bashful and flustered. Walking quietly toward the sink, Melly accidentally bumped Yin's gym uniform, causing it to fall into the bucket. Yin gasped when she saw her uniform sink into the water. She quickly grabbed it, lifting it out. Ah, it's soaked, she said, staring at the drenched fabric in dismay. Yin, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, Melly said, feigning concern as she reached out to touch the wet uniform. Yin sighed deeply, frustration evident in her voice. It's fine, Melly. It wasn't on purpose, right? I shouldn't have left it here anyway, she said, pouting. So what are you going to wear now? Yuna asked, worried. Yin shrugged helplessly. Should she skip class again and explain the situation? But Mr. Minho had already warned her this morning that if she missed his class again, there'd be consequences. What should she do? I'll just talk to Mr. Minho, Yin muttered dejectedly, resigning herself to the fact that she might be punished. Melly smirked discreetly, feeling triumphant. Yin was too kind for her own good, Melly thought. Of course, she wouldn't suspect a thing, especially with how naturally Melly had played her part. Yin returned to the classroom, still dressed in her school uniform. Fortunately, Jungkook was still there, and he raised an eyebrow, puzzled by her unchanged attire. Are you planning to skip gym class again? He asked, curiosity laced in his tone. Yin frowned, holding up her damp gym shirt. It's wet. It fell in a bucket of water in the bathroom, she said, irritation clear in her voice. So, you're not going to join the class? Jungkook pressed further. Yin huffed in frustration. What else can I do? Am I supposed to wear a wet shirt? I'll get sick, she said, unintentionally whining. She felt like crying. Why did everything this morning have to be so annoying? I guess I'll just have to accept whatever punishment Mr. Minho gives me, she muttered, burying her head on the desk. Jungkook stayed silent, thinking for a moment. He couldn't bring himself to let Yin face this alone, especially since Mr. Minho had warned earlier that if Yin skipped gym class again, she'd be punished. Jungkook glanced subtly toward his desk drawer. Do you want to borrow my basketball training shirt? He offered. Yin's head shot up, surprised. What? She asked, unsure if she'd heard him correctly. Do you want to use it? It's my practice shirt. The sleeves only go to the elbows. It might be a little big on you, but it's better than skipping this class, Jungkook repeated when he saw Yin still frozen in silence. Once again, he found himself speaking in long sentences, as if trying to persuade her to wear his shirt. Yin wetted her lips nervously. Deep down, her heart screamed with excitement at his offer to lend her his basketball shirt. Who wouldn't want to wear the shirt of the school's most admired boy? But at the same time, she hesitated. They weren't exactly close. But, are you sure it's okay for me to wear it? She asked, uncertain. Jungkook's gaze softened as he looked at her. It's fine. So, what's it going to be? Wear this or face punishment? I'll wear it, Yin blurted out almost instantly. She wasn't about to let herself get punished. Silently, Jungkook let a faint smile slip as he handed her his basketball practice shirt, a hint of satisfaction in his heart. You can change here. It'll take too long if you go to the restroom. I'll wait outside, he said, motioning with a nod before stepping out and closing the classroom door behind him. Yin blinked in surprise, staring at the shirt in her hands with disbelief. Her heart felt warm. Was it just her imagination? Or was Jungkook genuinely being so thoughtful toward her? She could hardly believe it. Bringing the shirt closer, Yin took a light sniff. Instantly, the familiar scent of Jungkook filled her senses, sending her heart racing. Without wasting any more time, she quickly changed out of her uniform, not wanting to make Jungkook wait too long. The arrival of Jungkook and Yin at the basketball court once again drew attention. This time, Yin was wearing Jungkook's oversized basketball practice shirt, which looked even larger on her petite frame. However, Yin had been creative, tying the hem of the shirt at the side, making the oversized shirt look more stylish on her. Seeing this, their classmates couldn't hold back their teasing remarks, and even Coach Minho joined in. Wow, Yin is so lucky to wear Jungkook's shirt. Look at that, I'm jealous. But Yin looks super cute in it. Jungkook, why would he let her wear his shirt? You fool, it's obvious. Jungkook likes Yin. Why else would he do it? These were just some of the comments from their friends. Yin lowered her head in embarrassment, trying to hide the blush that had crept up her cheeks, though her attempts were futile. Coach Minho smiled teasingly. Yin, where's your sports uniform? Why are you wearing Jungkook's basketball practice shirt? The number 01 stood out clearly on the back of Yin's shirt, the number that Jungkook proudly wore and which was practically a symbol of pride for the entire school. My sports uniform got wet, sir, so Jungkook lent me this, Yin explained, gesturing at the shirt she now wore. Her flustered expression was adorable, causing laughter to erupt from her classmates and Coach Minho alike. Beside her, Jungkook sported a subtle smile, a rare expression for him, causing another wave of excitement among their friends. Yin squirmed uncomfortably. It's okay, right, sir? It doesn't matter that I'm not wearing the school sports uniform, as long as I participate in class, right? You won't punish me, will you? She asked nervously. Coach Minho chuckled, finding her endearing. No wonder Jungkook had been willing to lend his prized shirt. Yin was undeniably charming and, as it turned out, irresistibly adorable. It's fine, but Jungkook. Coach Minho turned his attention to the boy. Why would you lend your basketball shirt to Yin? Do you like her? His direct question caused an uproar among their classmates. Yin ducked her head further, her face burning with embarrassment. As an athlete, especially a basketball player, there's an unwritten rule. You don't lend your jersey or shirt to just anyone, let alone a girl, unless it's someone you care about or you love her, Coach Minho added with a knowing smile. Jungkook, however, didn't respond. He simply offered a small enigmatic smile, neither denying nor confirming anything, before stepping into line. His silence and smile only strengthened everyone's assumption that the handsome boy indeed had feelings for the flustered girl standing beside him. Amid the uproar of their classmates, Melly seethed in anger. Damn it, she had intended to humiliate Yin, but instead, Yin ended up benefiting from Jungkook's kindness. The school bell signaled the end of the day. Yin's classmates quickly gathered their belongings and left, including her best friend, Yuna, who was in a rush because her mom needed her to help with shopping. I'm off, Yin. Don't forget to return the shirt, Yuna said with a playful wink before leaving with a teasing smile. The classroom emptied out, leaving only Yin and Jungkook behind. Yin glanced at Jungkook, who hadn't budged and seemed absorbed in his phone. Gathering her courage, Yin approached him, her heart pounding. Jungkook. Her soft voice pulled Jungkook's attention from his phone. He looked up to see Yin standing beside him. Thank you for helping me, Yin said shyly. Jungkook nodded, his gaze lingering on her. I'll wash the shirt first and return it tomorrow when it's clean, Yin added nervously, biting her lower lip. His lips curved into a faint smile as he noticed her nervous habit. Don't bite it. Huh? Yin blinked, confused by his words. Still smiling slightly, Jungkook clarified, your lip. Don't bite it, it'll hurt. His deep voice sent a shiver down her spine, and she suddenly felt warm despite the air conditioning in the room. Her cheeks flushed as she nodded quickly. Feeling too flustered to stay, she decided to leave. I'll get going now, Jungkook. Wait, Jungkook called out, stopping her mid-step. Yin turned back toward him, puzzled. Go home with me, he said. Yin's eyes widened in surprise. Did she hear him right? Was Jungkook asking her to go home with him? I can go home by myself, Jungkook. Yin declined politely. Even though she liked him, she wasn't ready to accept his offer so easily. She wasn't used to this kind of attention. Come with me. I want to take you somewhere. Think of it as repayment for borrowing my shirt, Jungkook insisted, not taking no for an answer. Suspicion flickered in Yin's eyes. So you weren't sincere about lending me your shirt? Jungkook chuckled softly, surprising Yin. It was the first time she had seen him laugh, and he looked incredibly handsome. That's not it. I just want to spend time with you. Come on. Before Yin could argue, Jungkook gently took her hand and started walking. Yin wanted to protest, her heart racing uncontrollably, but she didn't want to draw more attention to herself. Many students were already staring at them curiously. After all, Jungkook holding a girl's hand was a rare sight, and it naturally became a spectacle. Jungkook opened the car door for Yin, gesturing for her to get in. He then leaned over to buckle her seatbelt, leaving Yin no chance to escape or even speak. Once she was settled, Jungkook got into the driver's seat and started the car. Trust me, don't mind other people's stares, Jungkook said, noticing Yin's discomfort. Yin nodded, his reassurance calming her a bit. After ensuring she was comfortable, Jungkook drove off, weaving through the streets of Seoul in the early evening. Yin frowned when she realized the car wasn't heading toward her apartment, even though she had already told Jungkook her address. Where are we going? She asked. Join me for a quick meal, Jungkook replied without taking his eyes off the road. Yin sighed in resignation. There was no use arguing with Jungkook when he was in his stubborn mode. Besides, she was hungry too. Her eyes widened in shock when the car stopped in front of an upscale restaurant. It was the kind of place where the food was undoubtedly expensive and definitely didn't match the school uniforms they were wearing. As they prepared to get out, Yin grabbed Jungkook's hand. Jungkook, are you sure about eating here? She asked hesitantly. Jungkook nodded confidently. Why? Yin grimaced, glancing at the fancy restaurant again. I didn't bring much money. The food here must be expensive. Jungkook chuckled, amused. She had no idea this restaurant belonged to his parents. I invited you, so I'll pay. Yin was stunned, her worries easing slightly, but still feeling a bit uneasy. Sure, she knew Jungkook was wealthy, his car alone was proof, but they weren't close enough for him to treat her like this. Let's go, Jungkook urged. Relenting, Yin finally followed Jungkook into the restaurant. She walked closely beside him, not wanting to stray far, since the place felt completely unfamiliar to her. Welcome, young master, greeted a waiter as they sat down. The waiter's curious gaze lingered on Yin. It was the first time the young master had brought a girl. Secretly, he admired her beauty. Stop staring at her if you want to keep your job, Jungkook's cold voice sent the waiter into a fluster. My apologies, young master, the waiter stammered, bowing nervously. Yin let Jungkook handle the ordering. The menu was filled with unfamiliar names that meant nothing to her. While Jungkook listed dishes, Yin took the opportunity to look around. The restaurant was truly luxurious, with an elegant design that left her awestruck multiple times. When she glanced at the prices on the menu, she felt faint. So expensive. Luckily, Jungkook was paying. It wasn't that Yin couldn't afford it. Her family was well off, but she wasn't wealthy. She rarely visited fancy restaurants, preferring to save her money. Living alone, she had to carefully manage her monthly allowance to avoid running out before her parents transferred more funds. That waiter seemed to know you. Do you come here often, Jungkook? Yin asked curiously. Jungkook smirked. This restaurant belongs to my family. My mom owns it, he replied honestly. Throughout their time in the same class, Jungkook had secretly observed Yin. He knew she was simple and not materialistic. For that reason, he didn't mind revealing a small part of his family's wealth to her. Yin's jaw dropped. This boy was really rich. Her surprised expression made Jungkook chuckle softly. You can eat as much as you want, Jungkook said as the food arrived. Yin's eyes sparkled, and she eagerly dug into the meal. Delicious, she exclaimed after the first bite. Jungkook smiled again. He hadn't made a mistake bringing her here. She looked genuinely happy, her cheeks adorably puffed as she ate. Jungkook felt an overwhelming urge to pinch them out of fondness. Noticing Jungkook's gaze, Yin cleared her throat softly, trying to hide her flustered state. What do you want to talk about? She asked. Finish your meal first. I don't want you to choke, Jungkook replied, continuing his own meal. 30 minutes later, Yin leaned back in her seat, feeling full. Although the food was delicious, she couldn't finish everything Jungkook had ordered. Glancing at him, she noticed he hadn't eaten much. Maybe he's bored of eating fancy food like this all the time, Yin thought to herself. I'm done eating, and I'm not drinking anything, so I won't choke, Yin said with a wide grin. Now, what do you want to talk about? Jungkook chuckled softly. Does she even realize how adorable she is? He wanted nothing more than to pull her into a tight hug to ease his affection. Taking a deep breath, he steadied his racing heart and met her gaze. I like you, Yin. Yin froze in shock, her eyes widening. She coughed violently, choking on her own saliva. Jungkook quickly handed her a glass of water and gently patted her back. Careful, Yin, he said, concern lacing his tone. You weren't even drinking anything. How did you manage to choke? Yin finally calmed down after taking a sip of water. I choked on my own saliva, she admitted innocently, making Jungkook laugh again. She was so refreshingly honest and pure, and he loved that about her. After a brief silence, Jungkook spoke again. Yin, let's date. Yin froze once more, utterly stunned. She stared at him in disbelief. Was he messing with her? But his earnest gaze told her otherwise. He wasn't joking. Jungkook, are you serious? I mean, why? You're not pulling a prank on me, are you? Or, are you making a bet with your friends for some kind of prize? Yin's words tumbled out rapidly. This time, it was Jungkook's turn to be taken aback. This girl is too honest, he thought, amused. She didn't hesitate to voice every thought in her head. Gently, Jungkook met her eyes. I understand why you're confused, he said softly. We've never been close before, and now, out of nowhere, I'm asking you to be my girlfriend. But the truth is, I've liked you for a long time, Yin. Probably since we first became classmates. I just didn't have the courage to approach you. I admit, I was a coward. I've only admired you from afar. Yin's face gradually turned red, and Jungkook couldn't help but smile. Her flushed cheeks had quickly become his favorite sight. But I can't hold it in anymore, he continued earnestly. I want you to know how much I care for you. I want you to be mine. Yin, will you be my girlfriend? Yin's heart pounded wildly in her chest. She felt both elated and relieved. Finally finding her voice, she nodded slowly, a sweet smile gracing her face. I like you too, Jungkook. I've had feelings for you for a while now, but I was too scared to approach you. You always seemed so distant and cold, she admitted shyly, a small pout forming on her lips. But yes, I'd love to be your girlfriend. Jungkook's heart soared with joy. His nearly 2-year wait had paid off. The girl he had secretly loved all this time felt the same way. Taking Yin's hand in his, Jungkook brought it to his lips and placed a soft kiss on her knuckles. Thank you for accepting me, Yin. This morning, the entire school buzzed with excitement after seeing Jungkook arrive in the same car as a girl. What shocked everyone even more was that the girl was Yin, who had never been seen close to Jungkook before. Whispers and curious stares followed them as they stepped out of the car. I feel like a celebrity, Yin muttered softly. Jungkook chuckled, leaning close to her ear. You'd better get used to it, baby. Yin's cheeks turned red as Jungkook casually wrapped an arm around her shoulders, ignoring the gasps and shrieks from onlookers. The news of Jungkook and Yin dating spread like wildfire throughout the school. Not just the students, but even the teachers were shocked. The cold, aloof, and brilliant Jungkook finally had a girlfriend. While many hearts were broken, others supported the relationship, noting how well Jungkook and Yin seemed to match. Meanwhile, Melly clenched her fists in anger. She growled quietly, her frustration bubbling up. Why Yin? Why not me? She stomped her feet in frustration before entering the classroom. Her chest tightened as she saw Jungkook looking at Yin with gentle, loving eyes. Jungkook and Yin sat beneath a tree, reading books together. Both shared a love for reading. Their afternoon class had been cancelled because their teacher was absent, leaving the students free to spend their time as they wished. That's how Jungkook and Yin ended up here. It had been over 2 weeks since they started dating, and seeing them together was no longer a surprise. Jungkook's cold demeanor transformed into warmth whenever he was with Yin. Closing his book, Jungkook shifted his gaze to his girlfriend, who was engrossed in a novel she had bought 2 days ago. His tender eyes lingered on her, as he found himself unable to look away. What is it? Yin asked, noticing his gaze. He shook his head slightly. I'm just admiring my girlfriend. How can someone be as beautiful as you? He said smoothly. Hey, stop teasing me, Jungkook. Yin protested, quickly covering her face with her book to hide her blushing cheeks. He chuckled softly. He adored her so much. Gently, he lowered the book from her face and looked at her as she pouted in embarrassment. You'll come to watch my game later, right? Jungkook asked once his laughter subsided. Yin nodded enthusiastically. Of course, there's no way I'd miss watching my handsome boyfriend play, she replied with a playful wink. This time, it was Jungkook's turn to be surprised. He raised an amused brow. Where did you learn to talk like that? Yin laughed. Who else would I learn it from if not my boyfriend, who's been quite the flirt lately? Jungkook shook his head in amusement, gently ruffling her hair. His final days in high school felt brighter and more colorful with her by his side. The lively noise in the stadium echoed back and forth. Both schools competing in the basketball game were warming up. This time, the friendly match was held at Yin and Jungkook's high school. Even though it was just a friendly game, the spectators filled the stands to the brim. Just sit here, okay? Jungkook directed Yin to sit near the bench, not wanting her to squeeze into the crowded stands. Alright, play your best, okay? Yin cheered him on with a thumbs up before Jungkook returned to the court. The basketball game began. The star of the match was none other than Jungkook. The excessively handsome player wearing jersey number 01, sleeveless, drew everyone's attention. Every time he touched the ball, cheers erupted from the stands. Yin shook her head, realizing how popular her boyfriend truly was, not only at their school, but also at other schools. Each time Jungkook scored, he would glance at Yin with a subtle smile, making the stadium noise grow even louder. Unbelievable, Yin muttered, shaking her head in embarrassment. The game ended with Jungkook's team claiming victory. Jungkook ran toward Yin with long strides. You were amazing, Yin praised, handing him a water bottle she had already opened for him. Jungkook smiled before taking a sip. His gaze remained fixed on her, causing her to feel a mix of nervousness and warmth. His intense gaze was truly dangerous. Jungkook, in his sleeveless basketball jersey that outlined his athletic physique, drenched in sweat, with his Adam's apple bobbing as he drank, was a lethal combination. Damn, Yin thought. She wasn't sure how she felt about so many girls getting to see this sight. Yin handed a small towel to him. Instead of taking it, Jungkook leaned down until his face was level with hers. Understanding what he wanted, Yin huffed softly and began wiping the sweat from his face and neck. She tried her best to focus, even as her heart raced wildly under his unwavering gaze. All done, Yin said nervously. Jungkook smiled faintly. Thank you, baby. Without warning, he stole a quick kiss on her cheek, leaving Yin's body frozen in place. Wait here, okay? I'll take a quick shower, he added before walking away, leaving Yin with her heart scattered everywhere from his sudden gesture. Because Yin had been complaining about wanting something cold and refreshing, they ended up here, at Jungkook's favorite ice cream parlor. Yin ordered strawberry and vanilla ice cream topped with fresh fruit and waffles on both sides. Jungkook also ordered a slice of cheesecake to accompany her ice cream. For himself, he chose a simple mocha-flavored ice cream. Happy? Jungkook asked as Yin kept smiling non-stop since they sat down. Yin nodded, her mouth still full of fresh fruit. Jungkook chuckled in amusement. Right now, Yin looked like a spoiled little kid, especially with how she had complained earlier in a childish manner. As a caring boyfriend, Jungkook immediately brought her to the best ice cream shop in Seoul. You're such a kid. Your ice cream's smudged all over, Jungkook said, wiping a bit of ice cream off the corner of Yin's lips with his thumb before popping it into his own mouth. Yin froze, blinking in shock. Jungkook, that's gross, she mumbled, her face now red. I just got a small taste from my girlfriend's lips. That's not gross, Jungkook defended with a smirk. Yin quickly lowered her head, trying to hide her smile and her flushed cheeks. Why does Jungkook always make my heart race? She thought to herself. Jungkook dropped Yin off at exactly 8 p.m. Even though Yin lived alone, Jungkook never dared to bring her home late. Not yet. After all, they were still in high school. Yin turned to Jungkook, flashing him a sweet smile. Thank you for today, Jungkook. I had such a great time. Jungkook smiled back, his gaze warm. You're welcome, baby. Suddenly, Yin mustered the courage to give him a quick kiss on the cheek, something she had never done before. Her heart pounded in her chest as she did it. Jungkook froze, completely shocked. Did Yin really just do that? This was definitely progress. Well, I'll go now. Be careful on the road, and let me know when you get home, Yin said hastily, feeling incredibly shy after realizing what she'd just done. But before she could get out, Jungkook locked the car doors, trapping her inside. Confused, Yin furrowed her brows and turned to look at him. You didn't kiss the other cheek yet, baby. Be fair, Jungkook teased with a smirk, his eyes glinting mischievously as Yin's widened in shock. Nervously, Yin leaned in again, this time kissing his right cheek. But before she could pull away, he cupped the back of her neck and pressed his lips to hers. This wasn't part of her plan. She froze, completely unsure of what to do, while Jungkook gently kissed her, savoring the sweet taste of her lips. The faint flavor of ice cream lingered, making the moment even sweeter. Yin's lips remained frozen, completely unsure of what to do. On the other hand, Jungkook leaned in closer, planting another gentle kiss that made her legs feel weak. His hand on the nape of her neck held her firmly, not letting her pull away. Jungkook, Yin murmured softly as she managed to slightly create some distance between them. But Jungkook only gave her a small smile, his gaze filled with so much affection that it made her cheeks flush even more. I can't help myself, baby. You're just too sweet, Jungkook murmured in a husky voice. His fingers lightly touched her cheek, and his thumb slowly brushed over her lips. Without asking for permission, once again, Jungkook closed the gap between them and kissed her. They both closed their eyes, lost in the moment. The kiss, which started gently, grew deeper as Jungkook kissed Yin more intensely, fully capturing her. He sucked on her bottom lip a few times before pulling back slightly, his voice low and soft. Open your mouth a little, baby, he whispered. Reluctantly, Yin complied, opening her mouth slightly, despite feeling nervous but trusting him. At that moment, his tongue entered, exploring slowly and deliberately. Yin was taken aback, the sensation completely unfamiliar, making her body feel hot and her heart race. His hands held her face, keeping her in place as he skillfully guided the kiss. Though nervous, Yin instinctively began to respond, following his rhythm while gripping his uniform tightly. When Jungkook finally broke the kiss, their breaths still felt warm, meeting each other at such a close distance. His gaze was intense yet gentle as his eyes locked onto Yin's flushed face. Not too bad, right? He teased in a low voice, tucking a strand of her hair behind her ear with a gentle motion. Yin's lips were still trembling, her heart pounding loudly. Her cheeks reddened further as she tried to avoid his gaze. In a voice barely above a whisper, Yin murmured softly, You're really good at this. You must have done it a lot. Jungkook chuckled quietly at her accusation. His laugh was low, but full of warmth. He rested his forehead against hers, making her even more nervous. All guys can do it, baby, he replied teasingly, but his eyes remained soft as they gazed at her. Yin's cheeks turned even redder, embarrassed by his response. But slowly, she gathered the courage to speak. In a soft voice, she confessed something. This is my first kiss. Hearing that, Jungkook smiled, this time much warmer and more sincere. He leaned in again, placing a brief kiss on the tip of her nose, making her even more flustered. This is my first time too, Jungkook replied quietly, his eyes still fixed on her beautiful face. And I didn't expect it, but this kiss feels so good. I think I'll be kissing your lips a lot more after this. Yin fell silent, her face growing even warmer. However, beneath her nervousness, she felt her heart soar at his words. Something within her began to open, embracing the warmth Jungkook was giving her wholeheartedly. Alright, go inside and rest. Jungkook's words suddenly brought Yin to reality. In a hurry, Yin got out of the car and rushed into the apartment, her heart racing. Meanwhile, Jungkook continued to watch her, biting his lower lip. Only after Yin entered the building did he drive off to head home. Melly grew increasingly jealous and envious as she watched the couple deeply in love. She still couldn't accept that Jungkook chose Yin over her. After all her efforts to get close to Jungkook, it felt unfair that he chose someone else, especially Yin, who, in Melly's opinion, was nothing compared to her. Do you think you've won just because you're Jungkook's girlfriend, Yin? Melly pulled Yin towards the back of the building, a quiet spot near the sports storage. What do you mean? I'm not in competition with anyone, Melly, Yin replied, slightly annoyed. She knew Melly didn't approve of their relationship. Yin had often caught Melly giving her disdainful looks. Melly's hand itched to slap Yin's now boldly defiant mouth. Stay away from Jungkook. Do you think you deserve to be with a guy as perfect as him, huh? Melly smirked as Yin remained silent. You're just an ordinary girl with nothing special except for your brains. You clearly don't compare to him. He's rich and successful, while you? Melly looked down on Yin. Compared to me, you're not even as pretty, Yin, she said arrogantly. You don't deserve him, so you should break up with him. If you don't, you'll know what happens. Melly's harsh words and piercing gaze made Yin waver a little. She had to admit, she didn't measure up to Jungkook. She was lucky to even be with someone as perfect as him. Yin's eyes filled with tears, her heart feeling tight. Seeing her pained expression, Melly smiled triumphantly. Stop talking nonsense, you crazy girl. The low voice made Melly turn around. She was shocked to see Jungkook emerging from the sports storage. When had he been there? Did he hear their conversation? Suddenly, Melly felt an overwhelming sense of anxiety. Jungkook, when did you get there? Melly asked awkwardly, chuckling. Without answering, Jungkook stepped closer, his presence sending a chill down Melly's spine. He walked straight to Yin, wrapping his arm possessively around her waist before glaring sharply at Melly. Jungkook had been in the storage room looking for an old basketball, but he overheard Melly's words that made his blood boil. Do you think you're better than Yin? Jungkook didn't raise his voice, but his intensity made it clear he was furious. His face was flushed with anger. It was clear he couldn't stand seeing his girlfriend being belittled like that. Yin is a good girl, unlike you, who likes to put others down. She's even more beautiful than you, who only relies on thick makeup. I bet if you wash your face and remove all that makeup, and stand side by side with Yin, I'm sure Yin's face would still be much more beautiful than yours. Jungkook sneered at Melly. I love her sincerely. I don't care about her family's status. So you'd better stop bothering her, or you'll regret messing with my girl. Remember that. His sharp gaze made Melly pale as she processed his words. Let's go, baby. Jungkook looked tenderly at Yin before leading her away from there. Yin let out a sigh of relief. For a moment, she thought Melly's words might be true. Thank you, Jungkook, Yin said once they had walked a distance away. Thank you for what? Jungkook asked, raising an eyebrow. Thank you for loving me sincerely. I'm really grateful. Jungkook tightened his arm around Yin's waist, smiling gently. You deserve it, baby. Meanwhile, Melly stood still, staring blankly at the couple, who were now almost out of sight. Jungkook's words pierced her heart. The hope she had nurtured was now completely shattered. Jungkook had truly closed the door to his heart, only allowing Yin in. Melly bitterly chuckled to herself. All her efforts had been in vain. Though it would take time, it seemed that from now on, Melly would have to let go of Jungkook.